to play, and so is Midi. And we haven't seen a Voidless. We're not going to see Athena again. As yes, now we have gone through all the bans. We can see slight adaptations being on the blue side now. They go for the Azir ban.
Team W, they look to pick up Bard as their first pick. So they're going to be giving that one over towards Zero down in the bottom lane. Which means no second pick Bard coming out. I think that'd be the first time tonight we see that.
Yeah, and true to form, we're actually going to see at least first rotations of the champion. A lot of priority put towards that Bard. Makes sense. Zero is a really good Bard. Road has shown his prowess on it also. So respect or not, a champion that must be addressed.
Still a lot of strong champions left up and available. One of them is that Echo, and Aimee are actually going to be picking up Sivir here for Jin Zhao. He's played 3 games of Sivir so far, so this will be his 4th here.
But it's been taken away from him on other situations as well. And there was the pick away by Mystic in game number 1, the ban away by Aimee in game number 2, which is why there was some curious champions selected. And they get the Echo with it, which was still good from Amazing J. If there's one thing he can do, it's use those mechanics and get the team the kills that they need.
WE now looking to try and pick up their next 2 picks. We should see them kind of mirror out what Aimee picked up, with Maokai and Graves being their choice of lock-in, trying to use the champions Aimee just used to take them down against. Trying to use the champions they use against Aimee in the game number 2 to take them down one more time.
Literally the same draft order and pick order right now. Bard with the Graves was, of course, they're on red side, but now they've got the Maokai with it. If they finish with Ezreal or Victor in some way, like they just actually get those champions. Once
again, Aimee not opting to try and take the Ezreal here, or take a Lucian early here, which has been left up throughout this draft phase.
Oh. They prioritize the Sivir quite heavily, and you know what? It kind of does make sense for Aimee. They feel kind of linear in the way that they want to win the game, and it's running at you, it's being aggressive, moving forwards. Does feel like their style.
Series, but now we're going to see what he's made of and why he's being picked up. He's been reworked a little bit recently.
He has been. Does a lot of extra damage when the E charges and what not, but also slight hot fixes so that he doesn't just kill himself as willingly. Should actually help him out. Does a lot of damage still. Absolutely noteworthy. And as long as you can continue to amplify the rest of your team's damage with that ultimate, the Maokai becomes infinitely more dangerous, as does a Bard. There's a lot of strength behind the champion.
And I think this is very similar to a team composition that TSM were actually kind of famous for when they started running Maokai in the jungle with Vladimir up top. You know, Maokai reduces damage with his ultimate, Vladimir enhances damage with his ultimate, so complementing each other quite nicely. Yeah. We are going to see Aimee pick up Victor as their mid lane pick up a choice for Baimi to go up against the Vladimir. No more LeBlanc being picked up this time round.
Yeah, no LeBlanc. They did pivot on that fact. And I do like the Victor. It'll actually do decently well into the Vladimir. Might get outscaled by a slight pinch. No Ignite to be seen either, as they've gone double. Yeah, they've gone for heal.
Only Ignite being picked up here by the side of Aimee will be on the Nautilus. Bard's actually going to pick up that Summoner spell as well. So aggressive support spells coming in, but we are going to finally get to see what this Vladimir's been all about, because a lot of teams have been banning it out, but haven't seen it being played yet.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of pressure now. It's playing it in game 3 as well, trying to bring out that clutch pick. They could have picked the exact same thing as they did in game number 2 that they won with. They opt towards the Lucian, the aggressive option as well. Let's see how they actually perform with this one, because WE's team composition, I still think, is strong. They have a lot of damage.
Well, let's see if W can use it effectively as we head into the 3rd and final game of this best of 3 series for tonight. We'll be back in just a bit. And unfortunately, it seems like we're having a little bit of technical difficulties one more time here as we are loading onto Summoner's Rift. Unfortunately for that, but hopefully we'll be able to get those fixed as soon as possible, as this is the 3rd and final game between Aimee and Team WE.
Yeah, hopefully we get onto the Rift sooner rather than later. It's been a slugfest for both of these teams, and I'm sure you guys watching at home have been here for quite a while.
It's been a slugfest throughout the entire night. Both series going up past 40 minutes in most of their games, I believe.
Yeah, so absolutely. I hope that we can get in sooner rather than later, as still taking this very seriously. You can see intense stares at the screens. They mean business.
Waiting for them to get back onto Summoner's Rift, but I've just been told they have loaded back onto the game. They're still very relaxed now. Hands on keyboards. Everyone's ready. About to get in towards Summoner's Rift here, but this is a huge match here for IMA and for Team W. Team W, picked up a win against RMG, got a single win against RMG, but dropped the series 2-1. IMA were undefeated until this series and looked like they wanted to continue that trend with Game 1. Game 2, Team W bounce back now. This is a big test for them. If they can pull off a win here, not only does they get even further in the standings, but also show that they are a force to be reckoned with in Group B as we head in to the third and final game of tonight between Team WE and IMA.
Yeah, that's right. The stage is set, Fish. Everything is now ready for IMA to try and get their victory against WE, but there's a big hurdle in the way, and that is the resilience that Team WE ever presently displaying.
We certainly have, and another sneaky invade coming in here from IMA, sending all the members up towards the top side of this map, trying to get some vision put down. Once again, the fan vote showing favorites.
1 extra % to IMA. They did it.
Growing with each and every game.
I will also say we noted strength of ages, I believe it was.
Vladimir.
As the Vladimir's Keystone Mastery. Bit of extra health. It's not that bad of an option. We've seen it on only Rise, I believe, as a mid laner so far.
Synergizes nicely with Vladimir's passive as well. Giving him a little bit of extra ability power.
Bit of health, bit of AP. As the converse relation between those two things for Vladimir is very handy. And yes, it will give him that.
Starting with a Doran's Shield as well for his starting item into the mid lane. And, we've sounding like a broken record now, but we've seen him banned so many games now in the LPL.
Well, he's a uniquely sustainable champion as well and complements the rest of your team when it comes to team fighting. World Elite, WE pretty good at team fighting as well. And if there's one thing that they should be looking forward to, it's that 30-minute mark with a Vladimir.
Yeah, already being rather...
How much damage he does, dude?
Lots.
He's got an angry temperament now in his bar instead of mana. That's what it is, the angry bar.
The anger bar. Yeah, Vladimir has been reworked quite recently here. Very small rework during the mange update.
Yeah, it's pretty absurd.
And
He does
he's
a lot of damage.
Being a really obnoxious thing. And there's that new E. Full charge
Yeah,
coming
no,
out.
I can see the strength of Vladimir now.
Yeah, that just covers the entire lane.
Every time he has his bar stacked up, like doing that extra damage from what it looks like. I'm going to have to Google it if this continues.
Well, let's see what Sia can do in this mid lane. So far, being very oppressive against the Victor, but we haven't even been able to mention, because we've been so isolated in this mid lane, that there's been a lane swap taking place here. This time, going to be initiated by IMA. Actually take this tower down towards half its health. It's a very early lane swap coming out. I think Maokai just tanked up a little bit too much damage there. Not good.
Yeah, he tanked it, but he's going to be fine. And again, we speak about the efficiency of lane swaps. It's important that the tank, generally speaking, is healthy. It makes your life a lot easier once the turret is taken, because you try and freeze and then utilize that freeze to then push once you actually see your opposition's bottom lane. So Amazing J being full health will be a little bit more handier. And it's not that it's like that's a game-changing amount of health difference between the two. It's more that what if the opposition team gets here sooner and I can't afford to push that extra wave or get that extra minion that might be my next item, or slow them down.
So far, though, both teams were able to take down the turrets at the same time. So dead even. Still looking at this isolated mid lane where Vladimir is being obnoxious. Kind of reminds me of Swain, but just a little bit different.
He does so much damage. Yeah, look, it's unreal. Interesting champion pick, I think across the board. Like, they didn't know it was into the Victor. It was a blind pick mid laner. And there's definitely a lot of merit to it. Look at him.
He's looking good at the moment.
The thing is, like, he can do that every time the pool's available as well. That puddle is very obnoxious sometimes. What they need is an immediate gank. And now that's also a predictable thing, because the Rek'Sai had a Bard nearby, and we'll see how this actually pays off.
Well, let's see if Rek'Sai can get the gank off here against CA. He's just going to tunnel him forward, decides to... Wow, flash in coming in for CA. He was very aggressive there, looking to try and take down the Victor. Forces him to pop the heal. CA being a little bit unpredictable, but now without that flash, he's actually going to get jumped on. This might cost him. He pops the pull to try and stay as invulnerable as possible, and still will be able to get out of there alive.
Yeah, so he gets out. Of course, popping that heal was very important for him there, but we've already seen the initial strengths of what the Vlad can output. It's actually quite scary if you're IMA at all. Because that's pretty much a standard laning 10 CS lead that's been gained, like, from just a 1v1 scenario where at the end of the day, Rek'Sai being there is time wasted. That Condi's going to have a little bit more value from because of the jungle creeps giving more gold, a little bit more experience. Also, CS discrepancy is non-existent between junglers, it's actually still present.
So far this game, lane swap took place, initiated by Ome. They've now swapped back towards this bottom lane. Team W sent their AD carry and support still towards the bottom lane. They have a nice CS advantage down in that bottom lane. In fact, Mystic is 16 CS ahead of the Sivir right now. They're going back into the standard lane, so that's not going to fluctuate anymore unless Mystic drops the ball in any way.
Yeah, no, it's actually very clever from WE once again. Go towards the standard lanes, actually capitalize on a level advantage that your AD carry has and a CS advantage that he has. It's actually only really boots between them, so not directly a combat stat, but still Lucian having extra mobility means it's easier to hit you in the low range carry that Sivir is as well.
Mid lane also seeing a CS discrepancy due to the oppressiveness that Vladimir has shown so far. Sia looking very comfortable in that champion.
Oh my god, just half health him.
Able to just chunk out the Victor.
And look at Bamey's item build as well. He had to immediately respond. Can't upgrade that Hex Core to the Mark 1.
Straight Negatron Cloak, and he's still
He's
taking a beating underneath this turret. Sia,
my god,
in between turrets, trying to take him down. Still gets a cheeky transfusion off.
Bamey's in the bin.
Chaos Storm is put down by Sia there, but onto Sia, sorry, but Vladimir's just going to sustain in this lane. He's even health with the Victor, still has his ultimate.
So actually on 610 he has a Hextech Revolver, is that what I'm seeing?
Yes, he has that Hextech Revolver picked up.
Ooh.
And then we're going to see a flash out coming from Mystic, getting over the wall.
Yeah, and from Zero, so they get themselves out, but that was very deep of them. In terms of positioning, Midi does well to be at the right place at sort of the right time. And with all of those spells popped, Sivir might actually find an opportunity to catch up now. Yeah, look, questioning that, I'm not entirely sold on the Hextech Revolver. We'll see which item he goes towards, because if it's like a Proto Belt Vladimir,
that'd be interesting.
Good luck killing it.
Dashing all over the place, shooting rockets.
It actually has to be, because you don't want the other one, it gives mana.
You know, the way Sia is playing right now reminds me of how Rookie would play, just standing in front of the entire wave, trying to zone you underneath your turret still.
Sia is known for one thing usually, it was Diana taking teleport. The other thing is winning laning phase occasionally. When he does, it's in emphatic style.
Well, he's managed to draw a road towards this mid lane to help the Victor out even more. He's turned this into a 2-on-1 lane effectively.
Yeah, and he's still winning it.
Zero's been
you won't bring 3 people, I'm Vladimir, is basically what he's saying at the moment, threatening them under the turret.
You know, I think we're meant to look at other points of this game for now, but I think this is the only thing we need to look at. There's 3 members in this lane for IMA trying to deal with one person.
How often do at 8 minutes in the game you see 3 people walk mid lane and hold Bamey's hand while he struggles to last hit? How often do you see that?
Maybe an AREM, because nothing else is going to happen in this game so far. Bamey's got no mana. He's struggling against this Vladimir pick. Now we can see why it's banned out against a lot of teams.
The other flip side to this is also that Amazing J is meant to be against 957 in a Maokai against Echo, which you'd say pretty good for the Echo. At the moment, he's now pressuring the second turret, so all things considered, it's not too bad.
Condi trying to jump up in front of Nautilus's face inside of IMA's jungle. He's going to try and take away this blue buff from himself.
Yeah, and again, the reason we actually touch so heavily on this middle lane, and might feel like we're tunneling on it, but you can see right now how it directly impacts the jungle position through control of the map. Graves is now able to be aggressive on the side where the Nautilus is.
Not going to be able to go invulnerable anytime soon. Going to be able to heal up quite a lot here. Also gets a heal from Zero on top of that. 957, he's into this lane as well. Going to try and jump onto Amazing J. He's forced the flash out of there. But Sia still able to stay alive despite all of the people trying to jump on top of him.
Summoner spells burn, but the end result is Vlad's gonna Vlad. And nothing actually comes from it. What a disaster this game has started to become for Aimee.
Oh, we had a Game 1 obnoxious Swain. Now we're having a Game 3 obnoxious Vladimir. This...
Bamey wants to kill him, but it's going to be hard to do.
It's going to be very difficult.
He does have items now, though. Upgrading that Hex Core is actually quite handy for him. He can wave clear and feel happier about his existence in the middle lane.
So, just to take stock of things so far, despite the fact that Team W, you know, the up in CS in the mid lane, up in CS in the bottom lane are relatively even in the top lane. It's still behind in the jungle. That's only given them about a 600 gold lead so far. So Aimee still in this game, so to speak. They're not falling behind.
Yeah, like they're absolutely still in this game, but again, we're just trying to talk about like the direct correlation between a mid lane winning and how it actually helps other lanes. The fact that there is a 40 CS difference in the bottom lane is aided by the fact that Condi can sit on the bottom side jungle simply because there's no way that Bamey could do anything for the most of it.
On top of that, we see Road constantly moving towards that mid lane to try and save Bamey, which pulls the support away, makes sure that Mystic and Zero can capitalize on that as well.
Yeah, it's sort of like there's so much attention drawn towards the lane that they're obviously tunneling on the same thing, right? It's pretty obvious. The spectator's not listening to us and being like, we need to watch mid lane. It is important. Like, it's a game-changing level of important.
Well, I'm going to continue telling on that lane as we take a look at the items very quickly while Condi and Zero try to take down the first Ocean Dragon. There's the Hextech Protobell being picked up.
Yeah, Protobell could sense for him to get. Bit of extra burst as well, because why not?
Yep, and Ocean Dragon going to be
got him
picked up. Ocean Dragon gets picked up here by Team W. The next Dragon to spawn will be that Cloud Dragon. Protobell, everything a Vlad wants, you know, AP, health, CDR, mobility. It's fantastic.
It is actually quite good, and I'm not sure how this will work, but if you can charge your Vladimir E to the giant circle that you're seeing around him that just spills blood everywhere, and then Protobell, that'd be pretty handy.
We'll see if we can do that later. It's Magical Journey going to get cancelled. Just takes it one more time. Mystic now in a bit of trouble. He's trying to duel the Simmer, though, with three people jumping right on top of him. He is 957, though. He's got caught up by IM. They're going to try and take him down as well. The Maokai is just not quite as sank as we sort of wanted in the previous game. And just like that, Team WE lose two of their members.
Yeah, and I may come to the crunch in a mid to early game team fight, and they come out ahead. No way for the middle lane to impact that one, that's for certain, as top laners butt heads. They get midi in there as well. And just too aggressive from Mystic.
And you know, that's the second time we've seen that this game. Team WE positioned so far forward in that bottom lane. First time able to get out using their flashes. This time round, they punished for it by Aimee quite nicely.
Yeah, so they're still looking towards getting towards the middle stages of the game here. Aimee, remember, having that Sivir ultimate very handy. Midi's going to be a super tank soon. And they can look to just drop the Chaos Storm and actually team fight. Dragon's always going to be an ever-present idea that both of these teams want to work towards. The question is about how they go about this, because all of that overextension that's been taking place on the bottom side of the map has finally been paid for. Finally. And it took them 12 minutes to actually do it. If that happens again, and we see a CS league grow once more, Lucian could get out of control.
It's 13 minutes into the game. Aimee, with those 2 kills being picked up, have been able to even out the gold score against Team WE. The day has been a slugfest from all the games so far. And this game is going to continue to be just that, because these two teams, they look pretty evenly matched out in all the games so far.
Yeah, I absolutely do feel reasonably even.
Aimee still showing that coming from the LSPL, they're very strong in the laning phase, very strong early in the game. The only part where they're not showing that right now is the fact that Vladimir in the mid lane being a little bit obnoxious, but the rest of the map looking pretty solid. Still a huge CS deficit between Mystic and Jin Zhao.
You can see the immediate movements on the map as the junglers start to be revealed. You know what? Yeah, he's just a man.
Taking a lot of damage here, but Protobell in front of 2 people here, being really aggressive. Going to flash over and try and follow him. Not quite able to get the damage down. Going to try and get one final transfusion. It's not enough, and Mithy, we've got to pick up a kill in the mid lane.
Yeah, Midi working around Bamey. They get enough damage off as hello, Condi.
He's just going to be able to find a snipe off against the Victor there, as the spectator pans towards Mithy a little bit too early. A little bit.
Look, yes, it did, but the end result is they actually find a 1-for-1.
Well, CS, sorry.
And all of the summoner spells used actually evens that one out. That's very perplexing. The proto-belt aggression, man.
Straight into a Rek'Sai
It's actually
space.
so good because Vladimir amplifies the damage with his Hemoplague and then it's like, take my proto-belt that now does more damage.
Well, meanwhile, we see Condi actually getting locked down by the anchors coming in from Nautilus, but he was able to do another blue buff steal. We've seen blue buff being a point of contention from both these teams in all three of the games so far.
Oh, definitely has been blue buffs from each respective mid laner, a no-go zone. They try their best to contest it. That and Drake's is the Bard ult is on.
It's going to land onto two people. Mythi's here as well, trying to lock down Mystic. He's taking a lot of damage from this Rek'Sai. Still trying to stay alive now. The damage being returned on towards the jungle. Condi will pick up that first kill. Magical Journey on top of them. We're going to see a flash forward from Road, able to pick up a kill for himself. But here's the Vladimir. Proto-Belts hits no one, but still able to get good position to try and take down Mystic. But it will be Condi that picks up that kill. Sorry, onto Jin Zhao there. And suddenly Team WE burst open into the game one more time.
Yeah, they find their way into the bottom lane where a bit out of position, I think it's safe to say IMA's bottom lane was. Spell Shield unable to actually block it. The Tempered Fate connects, so they're able to keep Mystic happy and healthy and work onto midi. Great target selection from Team WE. Zero goes pretty ham. That's safe to say. He had no health to his name. But they just wanted these kills badly enough that they're able to do this. Like Mystic being the recipient of one of them as well. Actually quite important. Well played from WE.
Team WE looking strong right now. About 2,000 gold in their favor with a very dominant mid laner helping out to that. It's 957 looking to try and duke it out with Amazing J up in the top lane.
Yeah, putting in a bit of work here. 957. You can see Amazing J not phasing him too much at the moment. So they've done well to defuse the top lane. It's now a non-factor. They're just tanks.
So yeah, looking to try and dive here on towards the Victor. He popped the ultimate and the Hextech Protobelt to try and close the gap. Now trying to take down Mythy. Instead, just going to take the Magical Journey out of there. Echo dashing onto him through the Magical Journey.
Talk about aggression. Look at CA in his positioning. Condi even with the flank. They are just brute forcing their way through IMA. They know when they're ahead.
Well, you know, this is a huge change. Game 1, IMA was showing TWE, you know what, we can fight you the way you want to fight us late game. Team WE now, they're telling IMA, we can fight you early the way you want to fight us. And that was an aggressive push, just straight through two turrets on the back of this Vladimir.
Yeah, they just walk their way into the base and the turrets of IMA. There's just no response available, plain and simple. Their wave clear is definitely lacking whenever Sivir is in a side lane, and Sivir's still playing catch-up. I think what they should actually be doing at the moment is maybe looking towards have Jin Zhao group in that middle lane.
They might need to
But
do
then
that.
they send over Victor.
They might need to do it sooner other than later. As the second dragon of the game has spawned here. It's going to be a Cloud Dragon. Team W looking to try and take that one down. IMA doesn't look like they're able to contest for it.
I just think it's safe to say at this point that they were not ready for the wildcard pick. Even when they had the option to counter it, they still didn't have the answer. And now Bamey not being able to run teleport as well might actually help hurt them in the end. Sivir is going to struggle to stay in those side lanes, and Road is constantly leaving her to try and help elsewhere. As everyone's on struggle street except Midi and Amazing J.
CTW doing really well right now. We take a look at where they're at. They're 4,000 gold ahead of IM. Looking phenomenal at the moment. We take a look at the items really quickly. Spirit Pursuit picked up for both the top laners here. The junglers have a couple of items to their name. We can already see the Rek'Sai picking up some more health in forms of that Spirit Pursuit. Actually opting not to go for the Sightstone in this game.
Yeah, needs some magic resistance sooner rather than later, I think is the consensus for every single person on Summoner's Rift.
There's magic resistance throughout their lineup except for on the AD carrying support right now. We'll probably see an Aegis being picked up ASAP by the Nautilus.
Yeah, I think we absolutely will be seeing that.
On the flip side, Vladimir picking up a few components of his build here, looking towards a Zhonya's Hourglass with the Seeker's Arm Guard already picked up. The Negatron Cloak's been picked up as well.
You know what we didn't touch on fully with Vladimir is the change to cooldown reduction on those items. It was actually very handy for him. Because now that he can build defensive items and actually get cooldown reduction on all of them, he will be a max cooldown reduction champion.
Once he completes those two items, so.
And a tank.
Whew.
That's pretty cool.
I'm going to get deja vu from game 1 here. from this Vladimir. Filling the shoes of the swing.
Whoa.
We want the top lane. Huge fight's been broken now. Magical Journey being popped. All 4 people getting locked up by the Bard ultimate. Here comes the Maokai jumping on top of Aime.
Well pivoted.
Amazing J gets taken down. Mithy, the next one to 4, and a double kill goes on over towards Mystic.
And it felt funny watching Zero make sure they all got stuck in the Magical Journey, but 957's teleport was amazingly well timed. The second the Tempered Fate ends, Mystic dashes to a safe position, when 957 makes sure they're locked down.
And W are not done yet. They're looking for a play on the bottom side of the map as well. Sia, although low on health, just heals it all back up with 1 transfusion now.
Maybe
Baby
trouble now.
looking to try and take it down. Drops the base on top of the Vladimir. Flashes forward. He's going to be able to
Still
put the
got the
pull
move speed.
down. There's the laser coming out. Flashes forward himself. Is able to get out of there.
Yeah, so still a lot of damage available for Bamey. Has his Abyssal Scepter. The amount of damage that came out of Vladimir and the zoning of the rest of the IMA roster almost pressures the second turret in this top lane. And still things favoring WE quite heavily. 6,000, almost 7,000 for them. As this is a very awkward spot for Connie to be in, but Rhodes probably just going to die to him.
Looked like you want to try and wrap around there,
Yeah,
but
he just walks it out.
being that low, not a good idea coming from the Nautilus. Decides to head back to base.
All signs point to no. Condi, however, really does still want this. Oh, baby, here we go. Oh, here we go.
Jin Jiao, you better watch out.
There's no way that Condi can. There was too much life steal just given to Jinzhao.
Unlucky.
He would have actually killed him. That wasn't luck. That was a good decision to not go in.
Meanwhile, Sia, he's already picked up the Zonia's Hourglass for himself and has a blue buff. Now he's going to try and work his magic on top of Mithy. Taking quite a bit of damage, getting slowed down quite a bit too.
All that cooldown reduction, and you're still just a Vladimir. 957 even grouping at the moment, remember. No teleport or flash. There's actually a lot of strength. I don't know what, that wasn't meant to make sense, Fish. You just meant to go with it, right?
Okay, I understand.
I
don't,
the reason I said
I'll
it is
say I
because
do.
we just keep talking about Vladimir. You're just a Vladimir at this stage. I feel like we've spoke him into the ground.
Well, we take a look
He
at
might be sick of hearing his own name.
all eyes are on him at the moment. Take a look at the other items being picked up here. Yomo's Ghostblade being picked up by Condi. Not an item we see a lot on Graves anymore. Normally see the Phantom Dancers being picked up by him as one of his second items.
Yeah, a bit of extra armor penetration. Actually very cool considering all the magic resistance built on the side of Aime. Condi is going to be chunking the heck out of them.
Mystic's going to be able to deal some work as well with his Essence Reaver and Phantom Dancer picked up already.
Is the dive a possibility? That turret's actually very low.
Sia's looking for it. He's going to get zoned out by the gravity field coming out from the Victor. Just pops the W, trying to get away from that. Good Temper Fate comes out, locks down 2 members. Now a full 5-on-5 fight. And Dragon has Amazing Jake's going to try and join the fight. Mystic already able to take down Road.
Oh my
They're still
God.
looking for more Mithy. He's going to get taken down here. Double kill coming out from Mystic. Amazing Jake tries to get into the back lines, but he's going to get taken down. Triple kill comes over for the Lucian. And TWE just turn on the go button and pick up 3 kills up in the top lane.
Yeah, and it's Condi and Zero who actually are the ones walking away with blinking health bars. They're very well executed from this team. Looks like they're actually considering the Baron as an objective that they want to take now. Even that damage in the last fight. We have to respect Bamey and how much he did. But there was no way. Jin Jiao has started this game behind, and he may well finish this game behind.
And we talked a lot about how Sierra's been playing well in this Vladimir, how the picks surprised its lineup of Aime, but we skipped over Mystic. He's 6-1-2, putting on another great performance on Lucian this time.
Yeah, we absolutely kind of slept on him.
Here comes Sierra trying to dive straight on top of this
I don't
Victor.
know if you want that.
Puts a lot of damage on towards him. Pop the Ghost, he was committed.
Absolutely was committed. That man is on a mission. And he is only 1-1-6, but the damage he did in that last fight, still respectable. But yes, all eyes should actually be on Mystic, because he is playing this Lucian very well. Kiting around fights, making sure that he's doing as much damage as he possibly can.
And you know, we touched on before the Best of 3 series, how we've seen Team WE, they have opportunities where they can turn on this switch, which decides they want to end the game fast. They did that with a Twist of Fate previously. Seems like Vladimir's another pick where they can work on that.
Seemingly. What I do feel like is that they just found a lead that was big enough that they could just explode the map anyway. Movement around, Bard as well, very capable of unlocking them. Graves doing a lot of burst damage helps that out as well. And Vladimir's just a seemingly tanky champion that does the damage to compensate for the rest of the team helping that.
And he's got great items. Proto Belt, Abyssal Scepter, the Zhonya's Hourglass been picked up. The Vladimir, pretty bigger.
That's 30% CDR. The other thing as well when we're talking about items is Mystic's got towards the crit build. So he's doing a lot of scaling damage in comparison to the Black Cleaver Ghostblade build, which I still don't think is that ideal of an item. It's good. It's absolutely good. I just think there's more merit in the end with going the crit build.
Just looking towards picking up that Infinity Edge ASAP. On the flip side of the map, Sivir only has the Essence Reaver and the Static Shiv picked up. That's the final inner turret being taken down by Team WE just 24 minutes into this game.
Yeah.
Now looking to try and see if they can take down any of these Nexus turrets. They do have Baron up minions working and trying to take them down.
Well, no one's able to really stop Vladimir in this middle lane, so he's going to pressure it.
That's some good damage down on towards that turret. Popped his pull to get away from the hook coming in from Road there, but that turret falling down pretty soon. Mystic going to pop the culling there, trying to get some damage down on towards the Victor. He just walks away from that.
Just ring around the Rosie with Baron buff and minions at the moment. Make sure all 3 lanes are pushed, and then pick the one you want to address. Whether it's half-healthing the turret, you do it twice, it's gone. This could be the turret play. That
turret's going to fall down, but IM not going to give it up without a fight at 0. He's going to be the first one to get taken down, but that's only support. IM looking for more as Mithy. He's going to get taken down as well. Seer popped the Zhonya's Hourglass, keeping the rest of IM occupied as Team WE, they broke it in towards the base, looking for that first inhibitor. And they're going to try and go towards bottom lane, take the next one as well.
Yeah, they should be able to successfully look towards this bottom lane stack of minions as I'm getting really sick of you, Vladimir. You get rid of that Zhonya's Hourglass permanent sound. The gold lead is getting ridiculous. And that is incredibly annoying.
Tilting. Come here for Seer. Come on, Seer. Do something else. Get rid of it. But now they can take down another inhibitor turret and possibly another team fight. Amazing Jay has to pop his ultimate. Jin Zhao already taken down. There goes the flash forward from the Vladimir. Team W looking to try and close out this game early. They're on top with the Victor. They take him down. They're going to look for the North as well. He gets to the safety of his fountain. The Zhonya's is still ticking coming from Seer, but he doesn't care. Looks not going to be able to connect with the Vladimir, but that's the second inhibitor being taken down by Team W. They're looking to close the game.
What is that sound?
Before 30 minutes here, Team WE show IMA that they can fight an early game and pick up a win very early into game number 3.
Wow, that's all you can really say about this game. 26 minutes in, they actually break the trend of a long game time. We can still hear that ringing sound in our ears. And that's the sound of a Vladimir that was banned a lot. We finally see it played, and we understand now. We understand a whole lot about it.
Oh, I understand things I don't understand now.
And what WE can do with it as well is quite disgusting. They set themselves up with game 1. They were close in game 2. Game 3 rolls around, and they kind of just roll over themselves, and WE walk through them.
Seer was the pivot point in that game, you could say, but Team W just played fantastically as a team there. We saw Mystic doing so well on both Ezreal and Lucian in the second and third games there. And you know what? That was a phenomenal victory from them. They show that they, not just a late game team, they can close games out early too.
Yeah, and look, you can call CA the pivot point for that game, but I still want to call Mystic the MVP for it by a large margin, because the way he was kiting around these fights, even the way the Team WE was just working around him as a player, was still incredible to watch unfold, because a 26-minute victory in any capacity is still an impressive victory. That is like 12 minutes faster than the average game time at the moment. So all things considered, Team WE just played like a team, and they did it incredibly fast.
So before we break down this team, before we break down this game any further, one thing I really want to touch on is what we talked about before the match, how this was a test for IMA. This is their first real test up against Team W, one of the more consistent teams, one of the more notorious teams that are really good all-round, a really great team, and probably one of the best in their group. I still don't think they failed that test. IMA still put up a fantastic performance against Team WE.
I think game 1 and 2 show that. I think game number 3 is where it's potentially not so there for them. But undefeated team no more. They do go down to WE. And look, all things considered, we said the same thing. WE, they lost to RNG. Fair enough. You know, everyone loses to RNG. It's just kind of the way it is. OMG, maybe some questions about their performance. But based on how they won against IMA right now, no slouches, WE. As expected, no slouches.
It certainly played really well. As we're going to take a look at the standings very quickly. Group B here, RNG sitting at the top with IMA sitting just behind them, 2 wins and a loss. Team WE tied up with IMA as well, 2 wins and a loss, with Vici sitting behind the 3 with a win and a loss, whereas LGD and OMG have yet to find a victory here in their group. So we take a look at the next matches that will be coming up. This should be tomorrow. Newbie will be taking on Game Talents, followed by Invictus Gaming taking on Saint.
Yeah, so some pretty interesting games tomorrow. Game Talent's a surprisingly good team that we didn't actually know what to think of coming into this split up against Newbie, which is, look, the first real test for them, I'd have to say again. We didn't actually know what to expect from them, but at the end of the day, that'll be pretty cool.
You know what, Newbie, they've been playing well, but like we said about IMA, haven't been tested yet. Lots of the new teams performing really well. IMA is one, Game Talent's performing well as well. Saint yet to impress. Hopefully they can put up a good performance tomorrow, and we should be going to the MVP very shortly. That has to go to Mystic. It'll probably go to CA, but it has to go to Mystic. He played so well in that game.
It's one of those things, isn't it? It's like, yeah, it does have to go to Mystic. That guy was getting all of the kills. He was putting in a lot of work. And at the end of the day, they were both very big carries for the team, the Vladimir and the Lucian alike. So whichever one it goes to, I feel like there's no fair way of giving an MVP in game number 3 to anyone from WE, simply because, and I keep reiterating this fact, they are just great as a team. Like the teleport, the flash engage from 957 to keep Mystic alive. Those are the small things that without that, the whole team would crumble.
So it seems like we have a little bit more time before that. One thing I want to ask is, what changed here? Because game 1, IMA able to take it over Team WE. Game 2 looked like they're going to do the same. Game 3, just a complete whitewash. What changed for Team WE, or what did IMA not do well in those last 2 matches?
I think laning phase was an important factor as well. Like the lane swaps, they still happened. Maybe they blundered a bit of the execution. I think it's worth saying to an extent they both did. Coming into game 3, they won lane, they won bottom lane, and those are the 2 big carries for the team. We look at CA, we look at Mystic and say these guys have to step up. If you're going to be 40 CS ahead at like the 10-minute mark, and you're going to be killing somebody in the mid lane at the 10-minute mark, that's pretty much going to be the lights out moment.
Well, let's take a look at the MVP for that game number 3. It is going to go on over towards Mystic, 6-1-7 with 30% of his team's damage share. He had a monstrous game on that Lucian.
Yeah, 260 CS at 26 minutes for a victory as well. He was on time with the clock. A 6-1-7 performance says it all for this MVP. Very worthy. We are going to see how it all unfolded for him. And once again, you know what? Mystic out of position to an extent, takes a lot of damage from midi. Look at how the team backs him up. And once he gets rolling, Mystic, he doesn't slow down. We saw it in game 2 on his Ezreal. We're seeing it again here.
And he's been playing phenomenally so far for Team W. Not only this match, but all of the matches they played so far. He was a huge reason as to why they were able to pick up a single win against RNG actually in the best of 3 series. Mystic was playing out of his mind.
So this is the one that I really do want to highlight as well, because Mystic and Zero, they work together. Zero ults. It's like, oh, we're all stuck together. But 957's target selection with the flash as well lets Mystic start kiting around the back, and that's where the damage really did start to explode on the Rift. And from that point, it just didn't look like there was any slowing down for WE.
It certainly did, and you know, we used to see TW get the Elder Dragon buff where 35 minutes into the game, you know, that's when they try to close things out. This time, just something clicked for them. It might have been the Vladimir, might have been Mystic going off, but something just changed. It felt almost like their Twisted Fate game.
Yeah, they came together as a team, and I can't look at that and be like, Elder Dragon team no more. Absolutely. They still won 2 games in like 50 minutes and 45 minutes, but they kind of sped it up as they went, and maybe they discovered how IMA worked. And how they're going to play, and that is forward. Always forward. They're aggressive, flashy teams, and they want to make the plays themselves. If they're stuck in their own base, they do tend to struggle a bit.
So is this what we're going to continue seeing coming from IMA? Because we saw in game 1, they changed half of their playstyle. Instead of just doing a very fast game, very fast victories, they showed they're able to play the prolonged game, able to draw it out a little bit less, but still very linear, still very flashy. Is this what we're going to continue seeing for IMA, or do you think we'll see changes to how they play?
As much as they may change or they may want to change, I don't think they should. I think that's just their niche right now. They want to have Amazing J being that hyper-aggressive person. They just need to learn when it's too much. They need to actually understand limits, because how they got here was through being this team that they are now. They should not alter their style that got them here. They should actually just work out how to refine it.
Yep, and hopefully we want to see more of IMA in the next few weeks, because, you know, as a team coming from LSPL, they showed a lot of promise, and like we mentioned earlier, it doesn't look like that they failed their test here against Team WE today. That was a fantastic performance from the lineup, and we're able to prove they are one of the teams here in Group B that you have to really look out for. And hopefully be able to see more from them too.
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, they definitely showed that they mean business, and WE just kind of thwarted any kind of advance that they made towards the top of the table, because naturally, as we looked at those standings before, they're now just dead even.
Well, Team WE able to pick up a 2-1 victory in the last game tonight, and that will be all from us here today. But we still have more League of Legends action on the LPL tomorrow. But on behalf of myself, Rusty, our entire production crew, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.